half this. I'm like, you're not going to use this. Like, can I just go hang out on the beach? Like, can I just go hang out with like the cast like you said I would? Again, I didn't get paid. I was like, and it's hard to like bite the hand that feeds you when you're getting flown to Hawaii to like hang out with celebrities. But like, it wasn't that much fun, honestly, because like I had to like work. Like they were like making me like pretend to be this character I wasn't, and the only thing that was getting me through it was like I kept making fun of how stupid everything was, and I was being hilarious, but they completely cut they made it look like I was such an idiot. Like they used editing to make it look as though I was just this average Joe Schmo loser who like was hapless and couldn't get a girl and like was like, how do I get a makeover? Oh, I get a haircut, I get contacts, I get like, oh, now I'm GQ, normal. Like none of it was real. It was so annoying because I didn't even like flew to Hawaii, which is like I can't even remember. It's a really long flight, and I didn't even get to like hang out in Hawaii. Like I didn't get to like enjoy Hawaii. It was like I met those famous people, and that was cool. And I met like Judd Apatow and like people that I idolized. But I'm obviously I'm glad I did it. But like gosh, like TRL, like if it's a 5-minute thing you're putting together, just shoot an hour. And like you shoot freaking like 24 hours of footage, most of which they didn't even use. It was really ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And there was a well, I'm gonna tell it. Yeah. Well,
What is it?
The probably the funniest part of it was that. So, I mean, obviously, like, I was. Let me just preface this by saying that okay, there was okay. First of all, there was a second part of the trip that they ended up completely not using, which really annoyed me because that was the part I was most excited about, which was I got to interview them. Like you're doing to me, like I sat in that, they have these things called press junkets where you like go to their tent and you interview Jason Segel, Mila Kunis. So I interviewed all of them and I'm like, this is gonna be great for my reel, And then I thought it was going great and everything. And even like Jason Segel said to like the head of MTV Talent who was there, like he was like, oh, you gotta give this guy a job, he's great. And so then, but that was the next day, because the day before that, okay, so I go to dinner. This is like a classic Rob O'Reilly moment. I'm basically Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Where like no one, like I always say something and it's totally taken out of context and people get. So I'm having dinner with like the woman who's like literally like the head of like MTV talent casting, like someone who'd be important to someone in my position, and. It's me, her, my friend. I got to bring my friend on the trip, which was nice. He had way more fun than I did. I would have rather been him. and then like two other like, more minor producers at TRL. So I know the other producers, but I don't know this woman is like the head of casting.
Right.
I mean, I figured she was someone at MTV. I just didn't know how important. Like it didn't really matter to me. Like I have kind of a theory that like when you try to act differently around industry, like I feel like when I know someone's like important, then I end up like being like nervous and I'm like less funny, like so I try to not even ask. I try to just like treat everyone the same so that like I'm never like, oh, and then I also think it's obnoxious to be like, so like what do you do, like Yeah. So I'm sitting with like the head of MTV, and I'm unaware of it, but anyways I started making these jokes at the dinner table. First of all, that were like really, in hindsight, kind of inappropriate. Because she was like, there was this female producer that was really cute, and she's like, so like, where did you, or like, she's like, did you guys meet? And I made some weird joke about, I can't even remember how it went, but it was some weird joke about how we met like at like, and then. And then this girl was talking about how she was an Asian girl, and she was talking about how she like can't drink because like if she has like one drink she'll like pass out or something. And I was like, you're a fun date, or like I don't know. I made some like weird kind of date rapey joke, and then so what else? But anyway, so long story short, there's a point right where. We're eating at a buffet and and everything's comped by MTV, right? But we're eating at a buffet, and there's waiters. You're mostly just going up and getting your own food, but there's waiters, and their only job is to come around and ask you, would you like something to drink? And so I start to say this thing about, why don't they just leave drinks out as well as food, and then you wouldn't have to have a waiter? Like, that's just another person you have to tip, you know?
Right.
Like, if you just had the drinks there, you wouldn't have to tip someone, you know? So, and she was like, well, like, what do you care? You're not, like, what are you worried about tipping for? Like, you're not paying for this. And I like, the argument, like, what I was saying was that I was trying to just say, like, theoretically, like, I wasn't complaining, I wasn't paying for it, but I was just saying theoretically, like, but, you know, the way I worded it, I guess, was like, why do we have to tip someone? Like, and she's like, because they're doing a job, you know, like you don't want to tip them, you're not even paying for it. She got angry at me, and I was like, no, like, I'm like, you're not, this is the head of casting, right? I'm like, no, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, you know what, just never mind, like, just forget, like, because, like, she, like, blew up at me, like, and I was like, no, it's, like, not how I meant that, like, and I didn't feel like bothering to explain, like, I tried to, and it didn't work. So it's just like, whatever, like, you know what, you're not understanding what I mean. I go up to go get more food. And so my friend Barry is with the table, right? So he tells me later on that after I went up to get more food, she turned to him and she was like, does he not know who I am? She's like, I'm the head of, like, MTV casting. Like, I think you should be a little more courteous to me. Like, we're flying him to Hawaii to interview the cast of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And he's, you know, and like basically thought I was, like, being really, like, indignant and, like, and, like, that I was, like, refusing to tip people and stuff. Like, and it was all just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was all just totally taken out of context, like, what I meant. And so, like, I really, like, offended this woman. So even though I did great at interviewing people, I think that's probably what led to me not getting asked to do more stuff with TRL.
How long did that dinner last after that?
Not much
longer.
Yeah. It was awkward. Well, what happened was, and so my friend Barry, he's like, you know, I could tell that she was someone really important just because of the way the other people were reacting, because, like, the other two producers were clearly acting like this was their boss, because, like, whereas they were fun-loving before, all of a sudden this woman is there and they're no longer laughing at things. Like when I made the joke, and when I made, you know, when I was making these, like, dirty jokes, they were, like, not laughing, and the fact that they weren't laughing made them seem that much more, gratuitous, more like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that no one was laughing at the jokes made them see that more awful. Like, when, like, you know, like in The Office, when, like, Michael Scott makes a bad joke and no one laughs at it, it's like that much worse because no one's laughing.
I just wanted to ask you about your group, the Straight Men. Now, you guys post videos on YouTube. Like, how's that work exactly? What do you guys do?
Yeah, I have a sketch group called the Straight Men. It's 3 stand-up comedians that came together to form a sketch group. Me, the guy Barry Rothbart I was just talking about. Used to be Mike Ennis, and now it's Nick Turner. We post videos online on like YouTube and Funny or Die, and like we've got one called The Pest, which is about a naked guy living in our apartment. And like Show It Joey is probably my favorite. Show It Joey is, I couldn't even explain the premise. It's such a weird sketch. It's about a guy who's famous for being able to show things, like for being able to be like. So it's like a fake documentary about him, and I played Pappy Moosehead in that, who's this talent manager who's real, you know, he's been around a long time. He knows a little thing or two about the business. And then we do live sketches in New York as well, and you should check us out. I think it's like myspace.com/straightmencomedy. The YouTube, I think, might be youtube.com/thestraightmen or straightmencomedy.
Right.
I definitely have a link to it from my YouTube, which is, I have 2 actually now. I have Rob the Comic and Campus Comic.
Campus Comic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll do a little thing underneath, as you can see. It's under there. It's not there now, but it will be when we edit it together.
He's not going to put that there.
Well, I just want to thank you for hanging
it?
out and doing the show.
You got more questions.
I got some more questions. You want to get? All right, I'll ask them then. I did read that you are in a comedian basketball league. How's that working?
How loose is the time constraints to this that I can just go, you have more questions, and then all of a sudden
I am the producer. I'm everything on this show, so it's my call.
Well, I am in a comedian basketball league, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's stand-up comedians who play basketball together at parks in New York.